Right, let's kick things off then. We've got a jam-packed-ish show, certainly with new stuff.
We have got some new things.
Some cool new stuff. If you are watching live, yes, that is available to buy. Isn't it glorious?
It's a big old beastie.
She is a big old
well, it's not available to buy just yet because I need to.
Oh, you're going to take it.
It's got to go to NAF. So.
It could be on reserve.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What is that off of?
That is specifically made for that.
Is it?
Yeah. It's monstrous.
I noticed
it makes it so loud as well.
Because you can now get shotgun tracers, can't you?
You can.
Yes. Trace all.
There's some which are specifically designed to screw on to the Sega 12K, and then you've got other ones which just like the Cork C, which go over and you tighten them up and they clamp on. And they're pretty cool.
Yeah, because they're more of a universal fit, aren't they?
Yes,
they will fit 9 out of 10 shotguns.
9 out of 10 shotguns, yeah.
But yeah, no, that is cool.
Fits 99% of shotguns 60% of the time.
That's a very nice reference to Anchorman, if you didn't get it. But yeah, so let's get things off with the obvious new kit.
Yes,
new kit in the room.
I'm very excited by this because I get to build it. SRU Precision have, on the back of us, messing around with their SRB kit.
Yes, which for the camera is actually with us today.
Yes, we've got SRB, and Paul has put some optics on it.
Yeah.
And it now weighs more than a mini.
Yeah.
But yes, off the back of that, they very kindly sent us. It's called the SRUNA.
Yeah, I was wondering
but
that.
On the side, it does say SRU-22.
Yeah.
So, but.
See, I was confused by that. Is it the SRU NA-22 kit?
Oh, I just call it the SRUNA.
Yeah, the SRUNA kind of has a nice ring to it, I think. Sounds futuristic.
Again, Paul, build quality.
Yeah.
Look at it. And it's the little bit. That has got to be Cerakote. That's got to be Cerakote.
It feels too nice to be.
It looks like Cerakote. It feels like Cerakote. We've put it next to my Cerakoted rifle and it looks to be absolutely identical. I am 99% sure it is Cerakote, and what a lovely colour Cerakote that is. We need to contact them and find out exactly what colour this is.
Yeah.
That fly.
he's
trying to fly into my mouth.
He's doing loops around you.
Yeah. It's the little things with this though. Like obviously they've got the SRUNA in on the rail and the M-lock just there, and again the build quality is really, 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 really good, and the trigger again.
I think
it's just no play.
It's going to be a really nice length as well. I think with a little M-lock grip.
Yes.
Just at the front there.
Oh wow! Do you know what? I wouldn't even run an M-lock grip. I would just be, because that is long enough for me to actually run.
Just in time there.
Oh man, yeah. SRU, you've done a bang-up job with this, and I've not even put a gun in it yet.
Do you know the weird thing I can't stop looking at is look down the hollow section of the that's
what?
That's hollow.
All the way down.
All the way down. You can see straight through. I don't know why. Why would you do that?
It's very shiny on the inside as well, isn't it?
It is. The finish is immaculate.
What is that? That's got to be for something, surely.
I thought that. I thought to myself, is that like a weird iron sight?
No.
But it's too low. But
that's a nice touch.
On a real, wouldn't be like
I know they're pricey. I know they're not cheap kits, but my golly gosh, they just look good, man. And do you know what I think? I think this will probably attract more people
than the sub. Really?
Yes.
The only thing is, obviously, this is the in terms of real steel. This is for the Ruger.
Yep.
1022, and then obviously in our airsoft community, primarily KCO2. You can make a SSQ 22 fit.
And this is herein lies the issue. What do we use? I've got a funny feeling if we put it out to a vote for our 4 watchers and listeners, I I've got a funny feeling, after speaking to a couple of people, we probably would be better off just going with a straight KCO2, because I think the SRU-22 has had some issues. Shock horror.
Yeah.
But
did you see, and not to name drop or anything, but did you ever see the video that
yes, I know what you're going to say, Kicking Mustang.
Kicking Mustang
Yes.
out about it?
He was not happy about that.
He trounced it. He
Although to be
hated it.
fair, and in the interest of clarity, and I don't know him, never spoken to him.
No.
I know a lot of people don't like his videos. I like watching them. I think they're funny. You take them at face value for what they are. He, I believe, had some beef.
With
There was a bit of tea going on there between them and Novrich. So I do wonder whether that played into it somewhat.
Yeah.
But yes, I did see it. He wasn't overly happy with it. The problem is the KCO2 in standard format, they're okay.
Yeah.
They're not going to set the world on fire. They're just okay. But the SQ22 was supposed to be that next step up. All the little niggles like the hop and it was all supposed to be sorted.
Pre-upgraded for it.
But it doesn't seem like it hit the mark.
No.
The only cool thing about it is the banana mag, which we have now found out is available separately. So
and is it interchangeable with the original KCO2
Yeah, I
mags?
believe so. Obviously, we will double check that. But I'm beginning to think maybe we should just put an ASG KCO2 in there.
It's tried and tested, and then it's going to fit.
We know it's going to go straight in. It will allow us more time to mess around with.
How available are all the upgrade components? Because that was always the thing I remember.
Roadworks.
The roadwork was.
They're a lot better than they used to be. I do know somebody who's got a KCO2 and a load of roadworks bits sat there, so I may just message him and see how much he wants for all of it and see if we can do that. It would be nice to put a brand new gun in there. I think it would do it justice, but at the same time, if we can get one that's already had a load of stuff done,
if it's got upgraded components out of the box,
I'm thinking. It might be a better option. Although, I would still like to do the full build, like I did with that one. But yeah, I mean, mate, it's a lovely kit.
Yeah,
do you know what? It's making me want to sell my 2.2 rimfire, which is currently a bolt action, and go and buy a Ruger 1022 and buy the kit for it. It really is. Because I'm telling you now, I know they said that's for airsoft use only. I can almost guarantee you, if you dropped in a Ruger 1022 into that airsoft variant.
No, I believe it's the other way around. This was designed for the 1022.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then this is
because it kind of says again.
Yeah, but the original that box came with that in it as well.
Yes, it did. But what I'm saying is, even though this is
what's the stuff on the kits are?
Well, yeah, bullpup chassis.
Bullpup chassis, and then it says
not included FFL required components. So again, what I'm saying though is that
that damn fly.
Damn fly. I think if you were, although this is sold as an airsoft kit, I think a Ruger 1022 would drop straight in, and I don't think you'd have any problems.
No, it's not going to have the sort of recoil.
Exactly. They have very, very little recoil.
And the real ejection ports are already there.
Yeah, everything's there ready to go. I much prefer that to the MWS kit. I'm going to say it. I'm putting it out there.
Ooh.
It won't have the kick.
Yeah.
But as a kit, as a good-looking kit, it looks like the kind of thing you'd see on Starship Troopers. Doesn't it?
What do you reckon optics-wise then? Or, see, I think the barrel's not going to protrude. I don't think there's enough barrel length in there.
I don't know.
That the barrel's going to come out.
Does that mean we can find a nice sunken suppressor and put that in there?
Is it wide enough though?
Well,
you'd
you can
have
get
to go for a
suppressors all
little
different
tiny.
widths. Hang on a minute.
We'd have to build something with a tiny little grip in it.
Oh, I don't know where to put it. We can sort something. We can definitely sort something. I do. That damn fly. It's going to look good.
See, I think it's all going to be. That's.
Yeah.
1022. I think it's you. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we're going to see it in there. You know.
We shall find out. What do you think? What do you think? Do we suppress it? Do we put dirty flash hider on there? I don't know what to do.
I think sunken suppressor would look awesome.
Yeah, I think
just a little bit.
Yeah,
sticking
just a
out
short
the very
one.
end, and the rest of it
Yeah,
internal.
we can see what we can do. But
Some sort
I'm
of
more excited.
Fluted barrel.
Yeah. As much as I was excited for the SRU build, I'm more excited for this.
The interesting thing is we do have
Again,
the
forward safety.
The safety, which looks to be ambidextrous.
I don't know if it is ambidextrous or
whether we choose a side.
I think you do pick a side by the looks of things.
Mm.
Oh, hang on a minute, you can soon tell. No, it is only on one side. So it is still designed to be a right-handed gun because you operate the safety with the thumb on your right hand. Not that that's, it's not a bad thing. Comes with some bits.
It does come with some bits. Some body pins, that's safety.
Yeah.
The
lots of little grub screws.
Yeah, a tiny little
spacer extension.
Which is
that's quite cool.
All of about a centimetre?
Well, I think you'd be surprised how much difference that would make, to be honest. And you could, in theory, just buy some longer bolts and make a slightly longer one.
But I don't think, if you imagine your finger on the trigger, I think that's a nice length anyway.
How much did we say that the retail was on this?
The retail on these kits are like 400 or 500 quid. They are not cheap.
It's not bad, is it?
I don't know what, like, if you were pricing that up as a build though, with a KCO2, with that, you're getting into serious money. But
well, yeah, because let's be honest, if you were going with a straight KCO2, there's several upgrades that you're going to do to it before you put it in there. So you're probably going to be £500 to £600 deep before you put it in the kit.
I've just had a thought.
Yes.
I wonder if that's going to give us.
It should do.
Access to the TDC.
I think actually that's what gives you access to the TDC there.
Oh, you think it'll actually be like the wheel?
The wheel will sit in there. That is what.
That would be so cool.
That is what I am thinking. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking. To be fair.
Yeah. That would be very cool.
Because it seems to be in the right kind of place, and then you can just. Yeah, I mean the barrel theoretically is probably going to stop around here somewhere.
Mm.
Oh, it's so exciting. And the Cerakote, that is Cerakote. The Cerakote finish on there, phenomenal, and I love that colour.
Are you thinking we need to find the colour, get some builds going on with some other guns? Do you think an MCX would look good in that? Yes, I do.
Yeah, it probably would.
I think it would.
Probably would.
A two-tone black and whatever shade of green that is. Because it's not OD green, I don't think.
It's not. It's Christmas party green, that's what we're going to call it. CP green.
It's got a weird feel to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that Cerakote.
It's that matte finish.
Yeah. Really nice. Really nice. I am terribly excited to see what it comes out looking like, actually.
You and me both. I'm glad it's here.
Yeah, they were very good about getting it out nice and quick. As soon as, the sort of spiel came through and I spoke to them, it was a couple of days. Shipping is very good from SRU if you do decide to.
I have heard. I will obviously, as soon as I can get the correct bits and pieces, I will get this together.
And potentially, if any of the listeners are heading off to
the National Airsoft Festival,
you'll be able to see this
and
the Saab.
And the Saab and the custom Sega and the bullpup Sega.
Is that going to be in time?
I think I might just be able to get that squeezed in time. It will not be the Groza kit after seeing the price of it. Because that is ridiculous. However,
when you
well, I suppose actually when you compare it, but
yeah,
the price I told you for the Groza kit was trade.
ouch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
the general consensus of with the retail price of that seems to be not on your Nelly sunshine from pretty much everyone that owns a Sega. You will get people that will pay it though because it's completely out there, and I believe Jaeger has done a video.
He's done a video.
Although to be fair, for the amount of money that those kits are, you would think it would be far easier to fit.
Yeah. It
certainly. I think he had some teething issues, didn't he?
It didn't look plug and play by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Which arguably that is going to be plug and play, I'd imagine, or it certainly looks.
Hopefully,
like
it's close to it, because it means I can spend more time doing other bits with
tinkering
with it, and
creating a finished article,
finding the right optic. Yes.
See, if you go arguably full bore with it and turn it into like a mini DMR thing, are we going to want like a hunting scope or a?
No.
Or do you foresee flip to side mounts? Or?
I'm going with red dot with flip to the side.
A red dot with a flip to the side.
Yeah.
Not a holographic.
Too
big.
Maybe
the holographic
I think the
would look
holographic
too big.
would look too big, whereas a nice slimline. Hang on a minute.
Slimline version.
Have I got one in here? I mean,
his little cabinet. He's also his little
cabinet
cabinet.
of doom. There's a couple of options. So we've got a Vortex Crossfire, or there is the Sig Sauer Romeo 5. I'm thinking the SIG with the correct
it's
SIG.
slightly squarer in its design. That's a bit canted, and I think it would look. It would go with the
magnifier behind it. I think it'll look apart. I'll try them both. I'll try them all.
But do we have a matching SIG magnifier?
I have it on the way.
Oh!
I have multiples of them on the way. I have the three times and the 5 times.
Yeah, I think that'd look good. Are we gonna keep? If you're gonna have black optics on it, a little black suppressor,
black
pistol grip.
Yeah, I think black pistol grip. I mean, to be fair, if the drop in is easy enough, then it will allow a bit more time and money to sort and go down the Magpul grip route, I believe.
Yeah.
So we can do a little bit of a. What's the point in putting a cheap grip on there for the sake of 30-40 quid? We can put a better one on there and make the build worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm excited, and you should be excited too if you are heading off to NEA.
Well, I'm going. As I said before, I'm going to be there with Joshua at Airsmiths, and we have.
And you reckon he's taking quite a lot?
He is going to be taking quite a few MTWs with him. We will also be there, obviously, talking and schmoozing and perusing. Scott from 50/50 Rigs is coming up with us as well, so. I think it's going to be 4 of us on the stand in total. Probably all fighting over the shower in the morning. But no, it's looking to be really, really good. Obviously, I know that there's a few holes. So BZ are going to be there. So-called Tactical are going to be there. Viper Rigs are going to be there. Who I am now an official supplier of Viper rigs and pouches and other bits and pieces, which is good, along with some other manufacturers that I've forgotten. Oops. But then there's also going to be the Nick and Spartan from Axios Customs, which they do what I do basically, but they've been around a little bit longer, and some of their custom gas blowback builds are on point. They are really good, and they are super nice, helpful people.
But we want you to go there with some.
Oh yeah, and I think after speaking to, I think they're quite keen to pop in and have a chat and look at some of the stuff I've been doing, and I'm very keen to have a look at some of the stuff they've been doing, because they've just done a bolt action AR gas bolt.
Okay, a bolt action.
Yeah, it runs. I believe it's a GHK base, but instead of pull the trigger and bolt when everything cycles on it, you've actually got a manual bolt to cycle it. So yeah,
interesting.
it's like a straight pull AR on a GHK. It looks. I've seen some pictures. It looks very good. I want to see it. Honestly, those guys are awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing them there, and there's going to be loads of other people there.
Yeah,
it's going to be a long 4 days.
Hopefully, nice weather.
Yes.
Everything holds out.
I just hope that old Stavros from Just Greek brings enough chicken meat with him, because I'm going to be having that 3 times a day.
Right.
Next thing. Funny, when we talked about this the other week, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
And then like a day or two afterwards, as if by magic, BZ Tactical go, we've got some FMG-9s coming in from Mariuma, and I was like, I'm going to buy some of those.
I do wonder whether they listen to the show.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe all of their purchases are based upon
to be
our
fair,
recommendations.
I think between them and a couple of other wholesalers, I have one of the best working relationships with those guys. They're so good.
They do seem nice people.
They are awesome.
Let's have a look at this. I can get it off.
The Mariuma FMG-9, baby.
Nice.
Oh,
the magic.
Yes. It's pretty cool.
It is very cool. Having had been lucky enough to have a few shots of it before the show, it's bloody loud.
It is very loud. It runs a VFC Glock upper in there. So it's very punchy. Like super punchy.
Yeah. It doesn't actually have the feel of a pistol in that respect.
No, when you fire it, it feels like you're firing a little mini rifle.
Yeah.
It really does. And I know for anybody that goes down the route of getting one of these, yes, I have them in stock. For anybody that goes down the route of getting one of these, when you get them, when you first look, you're like, well, that plastic looks a bit thin and it looks a bit cheap. And I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the charm of it as well, because they've kept everything quite thin and not flimsy. It's got a bit of flex in it, but it's not the sort of thing that's just going to, where it matters, it's solid. But because of that, they've kept the weight down. The only thing that weighs is the slide, because even the mag weighs nothing. They're an aluminium mag, they're a lightweight mag. So when you fire that, the heaviest part of the gun is moving back and forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what a gun.
You've tried it for range and punch?
Yeah, well, straight out of the box, I put 2.8s in it, and it was underhopping them ever so slightly, because this runs the VFC. I know I keep saying it, VFC, because it runs a VFC Glock on the inside. You can adjust the hop from the guide rod on the front, and this comes with a speed loader adapter, and a very long Allen key, so you can do all of that. So I adjusted the hop ever so slightly, and it was sending a 2.8 like laser beams out the box. 2.8s, just perfect. So it really is a gun that you're just going to be able to pick up and run. Just a hop on it, away you go, kind of thing. Oh, it's just I'm glad I didn't buy the pink one now.
It is.
I'd have been very annoyed had I bought a pink one. But it's the way it folds down as well. It's
the cool factor of all of it, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, for those that can see it, there's obviously you've got the little foregrip there, which don't be tempted to grab it like that and put your hand in front of it, because your finger is very close to the barrel.
Yeah.
A few people have said that, so you can't hold it like that. But the little foregrip at the front, there's a little button in there. You press that folds up, and then you back there. That comes down. You push the mag back ever so slightly. That holds everything together. Cheek rest, lift it, and there you go.
It's got its own carry case.
It's got its own carry case. The carry handle is completely removable. Just pull up the 2 tabs and you can slide the thing off and put optics on there and everything else if you just want to run it as a rifle. So it works perfectly for that. But yeah, just amazing, isn't it?
That is super, super cool. You know, and this is something that the FMG-9, I'm right in saying, was a real firearm. I don't think they make them anymore, though, do they?
Oh, it was a prototype firearm, from what I can gather, and it picked up
it got
speed on Call of Duty, and a couple. I think it might have been another.
It's in Rainbow Six Siege and all the rest of it as well.
But it's just a very cool piece of kit. There was rumour at one point that they were going to do one of these that wasn't designed to fold out and was designed to be shot from the stowed position. So essentially, when it's all together,
like a super spy kind of.
Yeah, basically, you had a trigger here, and it can be fired
while you're carrying
it. Which it's a bit worrying, isn't it? But that being said, that kind of thing would be old hack now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you saw it in a movie or something, though, you'd still go, right, that's bloody cool.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, that is absolutely magnificent. I am very much in love with this. I don't know what to say. I'm just
for context, I messaged him and was like, "I have some Maruyama FMG-9s coming in. Would you like one?" And he almost swore at me.
No, I didn't.
I owe you money already.
Yeah. So just for context, I bought a pistol. What was that? The K.
That's the Tanio Koba KJ Works.
Yeah.
The collection one.
And we obviously need to now buy a KCO2 for the kit. But yeah, I think personally I might have to have one of these anyway. Irrespective. Maybe I just won't pay my rent this month. Who knows?
I'll eat noodles for a whole month.
yeah. Beans on toast sounds fantastic.
Go to preppershop.co.uk and buy a load of...
A month's supply of...
chicken and beans.
Chicken and beans. That would be awesome.
Or chicken, sausage and beans, there we go.
So yeah, like I say, this found fame on games, really, more than anything else, doesn't it? But I just think it's got this practicality factor that perhaps we're not diving into enough, because if it's got more range than your standard pistol anyway, it's got a lot of kick, you said it throws the BBs, it can be used as an SMG.
You could use that at an outdoor site as a primary.
But to be quite honest, like when now I'm going to make a pig's ear of folding this up, I know I am, because this is my first attempt on camera.
That's it.
So that goes down there.
Push
like
the mag
that,
forward.
and the mag goes forward.
There you go.
And then that lifts up.
You got it.
Goes across. And do I have to slam it a little bit?
No,
There we go. That's going to go in any backpack you could imagine. You can carry that. You know, I'm not saying.
For those that turn up to site on mopeds.
Yep. Or a little bike or anything.
Yeah, if you were to buy one of those and buy another 3 extended mags, so you've got 4 40-round mags. Or as many as you want, really.
You have your little tub of BBs, little tub of gas, that's all going to fit in.
And you could run that for a game day. Quite happily and have fun.
And you wouldn't need an optic because it does have built-in iron sights.
Yeah, it's got built-in irons. How accurate they are, I don't know.
I don't know that you'd actually want to put an optic on it, because it kind of... I like that little carry handle. I think that's very, very cool.
If I was going to CQB, I would not hesitate to take that and that alone and run it for a day.
It just stows away.
Well, yeah,
hop on your bike and off you go.
Yeah. Again, it's a case of let's bang everything in a backpack, in a grab bag, and go to your game day.
Does that actually?
And be competitive.
I'm just trying to see whether that.
No,
I can see the barrel. That does line up. I can see the barrel down that hole.
No, that's the hop up. The barrel's up here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, why you'd be able to adjust the hop.
While it's in bag.
But, again, like we say, I think that is a perfectly acceptable primary, if I'm honest.
Low cost, low maintenance.
Yeah, because
does it disassemble easy enough for you to maintain the pistol inside?
Yeah, it's not too bad to take apart. I briefly took it down earlier on. I need to double check. I think it's one of those things. I have to do something a couple of times before it sort of settles into my mind. You can take the upper off, and when you take the upper off, it's just like a normal Glock 18 on the inside. At the back of the slide, there's a selector to go from single to full. Although,
have you had a full beam to go on it yet?
No, I haven't, because obviously that was ordered in. These are for sale. I don't want to use it too much.
I suppose, like any Glock, like we've spoken about.
Yeah,
before,
I would be tempted. Yes, it's nice to have the full auto there, and I'm sure it'd probably be fine because being VFC, it's not made of cheese at least. But again, because it's not selectable very easy from the outside, I would be tempted just to leave it in single shot, and just run it like that. Because it's snappy. Yeah. It's snappy enough that you could get 2 or 3 rounds off quite quickly with it.
Yeah. Do you think, obviously, with the VFC, there's nothing that they've had to alter to allow that mag to actuate? Because the mags are different, you said.
Yeah, the mags are slightly different, so not like your TM and WE spec mags. But
we just how do I get that? I don't want to break it. Those mags, they're weird, aren't they?
They are. I mean, the ones that come with it, just for reference for anybody who's going to buy one of these, the mags that come with it. Notice the distinct lack of the ability to grab a follower and pull it down and load it. Everything has to be done from the speed loader, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier on. It does come with a speed loader and a speed loader adapter. So for those not watching, usually on the front of your mags there is a cutout where you can see the spring and the follower, and you can get your thumb in the follower and pull it down to load the mag. The mag that comes with this does not have that. It is a completely enclosed unit. The spare mags that come with them are more of a traditional style where you've got the open cutout in the front, so you can pull the follower down and load it. Makes it a bit easier. What does get me with these is the weight of the mags.
Yeah,
they're super light. Like, just they weigh hardly. I think they're probably less than half the weight of a TM extended mag. So, yes.
They've still got a nice, strong feel.
Yeah. I think they're
like
aluminium, aren't they? They seem to be aluminium. So, and it's a nice finish on them as well.
But in theory, then, all sort of standard Glock upgrades would fit.
VFC based ones, yes.
Now you did hint earlier that people are finding issues if they use non FMG.
Yeah, a couple of people have said not to use non VFC based mags in them. I think that seems to span across with most of the VFC and Umarect Glocks. They do take their own mags. I don't think they're massively compatible with TM. So I would recommend, I mean, these mags are not expensive. I can't remember exactly how much they are. I'll have a look in a second. But they're not hideously expensive. And they perform really well. So I would massively suggest to stick with the proper mags for it. Other than that, I don't think anyone's going to have any major issues with it. The only thing I will say, and this is just seen it on Reddit and a few other places, don't drop it.
Yeah.
Because it is plastic. And I just get the feeling it probably would break. It probably wouldn't affect the way it works, but I've got a feeling this is the part that would probably break before anything else.
Would you? It doesn't feel flimsy.
No.
I think it's going to be the joint.
Probably, yeah.
The sort of double actuating joint that we have here.
But as with anything, I mean, most airsofters...
guess there must be replacement parts.
I think so.
Going to be available.
I believe so.
Because it will happen.
I think the vast majority of airsofters do try and look after their kit. And I mean, I think the only damage to one of those would end up being accidental damage. I don't think someone's going to unfold it and then yeet it halfway across the site. I I think it would be a case of like it gets knocked off a table or you know. The other thing it does come with in the box is a sling plate as well, and I've yet to actually look to see where that's supposed to go. I'm not quite. I believe it goes there. It's a sling plate attaches to that, which allows you to just pop a sling on it.
Oh, could we see that?
I think the box is hidden away.
Oh no. But yeah, no, that's does it? But you can obviously once that's installed, you can still fold the gun and you just have a sling plate on the exterior.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to go there. So I will get that put on. But yeah, I think for the money, pretty damn good.
Because you're not talking even at so what did you say on retail there?
Retail on these is 210.
210. So you're talking, well, certainly, even a John Wick Pit Viper is more than that.
Oh god, yeah. You're looking, you know, if you're buying the CNC variant, yes, definitely.
It is
so
cool.
Cute.
And I think in all honesty, we were talking. We mentioned last week, obviously the Novrich Glock based new pistol, the SSP-28.
Yes.
But if you're looking at, we said about like carbine kits and how everything makes its way into a carbine kit these days and all the rest of it. Here, there's no need for that. It's already in one. It's in a very handsome little kit. Look at that.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
And there is your fun switch.
So that looked easier than.
So for those that can't see it, there's a little. The very back here. There's a little thing. Tab, pull the tab, and there we go. And right here, fun switch.
Marvellous.
And off, and on, and off.
So tear down of the upper should be. You've got your.
Yeah, so you should, in theory, you take this front off, and it is just hinged on two plastings. You just bend it off, pull that down. That whole upper slide comes off.
So maintenance shouldn't be a problem.
Nope.
I think that's absolutely fantastic.
It's a brilliant idea, and I think it will sell well. I think people will like it. It's a good little introduction into gas blowbacks. I would probably put this on par with the GHM-9 for an entry-level gas blowback. I think it's far. Well, I'll probably get shot for saying this. It's far better than a VMP-1 as an entry.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with you, especially
as much as I love Vorsk and what they're trying to do. I do.
Let's be honest, they're not.
I think
something about their direction isn't quite right at the minute.
Yeah, they've kind of missed the mark a couple of times with some of the stuff they've done, and I don't think it's through any fault of their own. I think it's just changing markets. But
so let's take that as an example. The VMP-1, very limited in what you can do with it in terms of upgrades or anything else.
Whereas there is
there's a bucket load.
There's a bucket load.
There's a bucket load of upgrades available for Glocks and all the rest of it. A tighter barrel, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to wonder. I'm just going to have to open it up again to check.
Then you do all sorts of nonsense like short stroke it.
You see, this is the thing, okay? If you look at that, a normal Glock finishes about here. This has an extended outer barrel, which comes to about here. The inner barrel runs all the way along there.
Yeah.
So this actually has a much longer inner barrel than a standard Glock. So I think we need to. I'm going to run some chrono readings on it and see what it runs at. But I get the distinct impression it's probably going to be running higher joules than your normal VFC Glock.
Yeah.
Which could explain the range on it.
Yeah. I think, if you're looking to build a little SMG,
it just takes up no room.
Put it against
prime example. No, put it. Let's put it against the Samsung Galaxy. Okay. It's not much bigger than a Samsung Galaxy.
You see people running around with those little tabs, fancy tabs and all the rest of it.
But then when you
think collapsed MP7?
Collapsed MP7. So let's probably check that again.
You just like doing that.
Yeah. It's about the same size as an MP7 if you were to extend the stock, give or take. So
but the mags will be infinitely cheaper.
The mags are, well, I think they're probably about the same, but they're higher round count on the mags.
The maintenance should be easier on that than the MP7.
Yeah, really. They're a bit of a struggle to get apart. I mean, it's doable, but there's a lot of bits and pieces in there that you probably wouldn't want to be taken out.
Yeah.
But when collapsed, far easier to transport and far less inconspicuous.
And far cooler to deploy.
Yeah, because let's be honest, and I'm not recommending anybody do this, you could carry that in public and nobody would know what the hell it is. Nobody would know. You could walk down them through the middle of the street,
yeah.
And I'm not suggesting anybody do that. If I find out you've done that, I'll give you a myself. But it's...
Again though, like I say, you throw it in your backpack, it's everything you need, along with the lightweight mags. You know, it's going to cause you no hassle at all, isn't it? Really.
It's just...
As long as you don't drop it, as we've already established.
Yeah.
It's
just a very clever piece of kit. And... yeah.
Little SMG,
I think they're going to be really popular, and I'm going to order some more in because, again, the perfect gateway. If someone wants a cheap entry into a gas blowback rifle, there you go, sorted.
And I know you touched upon the pink one last week, but let's face it, it's entirely polymer, easy to strip down and actually get the inner pistol out of it. You could design that to look however you wanted, really easily, paint it up really nicely, you know, put your anime sticker
on,
whatever you want over the top of it. It's going to be just a cool accessory, like you say. You just fling it out of your bag, off you go to a game day.
I'd be stickable in it.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the release and charging handle.
Oh, you reckon you could change that to the other side?
I believe it is interchangeable, so you can take it out, swap it over to the other side. I would need to check.
So like a deploy and then AK
for left-handeds. So it can be run left-handed. Oh,
I do like it.
It's cool.
But
so
then
I will have a video out on this next week because I've already started writing down what I'm going to do for the video. But yeah, so I'll have a full video of it and chrono test and some other bits and pieces.
Look forward to that.
Yes.
Right, the final topic today.
Something we've not covered before. BBs.
BBs.
Airsoft would be nothing without them.
Yes. Yeah.
We'd all be shooting gel balls around or paintballs.
Gel balls. That's mainly Australia, isn't it?
It is. It's becoming more and more popular though. I'm being asked for gel blast. Oh, sorry. I'm being asked for gel blasters all the time.
I suppose.
I must get one email a week.
Really? They're very big. If you've ever like doom scrolled on TikTok, Christ, the amount of people you see just like gel blastering it, like throwing them into the mags, and I mean, look, they're just as cool as exterior-wise. You can get most of the same platforms, and you
can, and the things like we take for granted, like Gate for their Titans and stuff like that. There is a whole selection of MOSFETs and such for gel blaster guns, because essentially they're the same thing. Gearboxes are very similar. They still run the same triple gear piston setup. So, unfortunately, if Airsoft ever does get banned, I think that's all we're going to be left with. But there's some people that are getting some real range out of those things, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll sleep on it for much longer. I think it will become more popular. The only type of gel blasters you buy at the minute are those cheap ones which run on AAA batteries and probably don't last very long.
Yeah.
They haven't really taken off in the UK because we have this. So
Do you think it's something that would bridge the gap between like almost like a kid's entry thing?
They still fall under realistic limitation firearm rules.
But in terms of like getting kids to play,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming the gel ball doesn't hurt as much.
It doesn't, but again, because they are, I mean, unless you're buying the cheap multicoloured ones, because
you still need some sort of
you've still got to be over 18 and have a valid defence to buy it, and for the ones that look like these anyway. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's a case of watch this space. I think it will grow in popularity. But yes, going back to BBs. I showed you some pictures a minute ago of a rather dirty
in a barrel.
And it's kind of led me on to thinking we've never really spoken about BBs and BB quality. I think it's a general rule, if you buy a new gun, when you open up the box and you see that little packet of BBs in there,
don't ever
you throw them in the bin. Don't ever use them.
Even if they're from TN.
Yes, yeah, just throw them in the bin. But there is a huge gap between good BBs and bad BBs, and then there seems to be a whole host of everything in between.
And I think the misconception is that BBs are only manufactured by two different people, and they're sort of subsequently just relabeled.
Yeah, well, there are. Somebody will correct me. There's either 3 or 4 manufacturers of BBs. That's it. However, the best analogy I can use for this, some of them are rebagged. That's not a problem. The best analogy I can use though is you can go to this company, just like you can go to a company that manufactures aftermarket car brake pads.
Okay.
If you go to a main dealer, you're going to buy your brake pads, and they're going to be, if you like, let's say out for me, a pair of front brake pads is like 140 quid. I can go into Motor Factors and buy, I can select which brake pads I want. I can have the real cheap ones for about 12 quid. I can have a set of Frodo brake pads which are 40 quid, or I can have some EBC pads which are 70 quid. Manufacturers make stuff to a budget. They all look the same. It's what's inside of them.
And they will fit, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's from what I can gather, it's very similar with BBs.
So if it's made by 4 different or only 4 different people, can you go to that person? Is it like selecting your own blend?
Yeah.
Like
well, yes and no.
I'm just saying, like, I want it to be.
I know, you know,
hollow.
I know. I could approach BLS and say to them, I want to bring up my own branded BBs. I want your best quality BBs, and I want them packaged in my boxes. Not a problem. That's what they'll do. You could then turn around and say, I just want a cheap and cheerful BB, which probably internally is not going to be as good a quality. You might have some air pockets inside the BBs, they're not going to be quite as dense. And again, you're kind of selecting
where you want to fall.
Yes. The problem is, there has been this whole thing of, well, all these BBs are made by this company and they're all just rebranded. Yes, that might be the case. And for about 70% of them, they probably are the same BBs. There's that 30% where the materials in those BBs just aren't, and the care that's taken when they're made and the quality control, it just isn't as much because they're a cheaper BB. The big thing is the actual polishing of the BBs. That's generally what leaves a load of cruddy residue in your barrels.
Yeah.
It's the finishing process. When you buy some real cheap BBs, first thing you look for, when you take one out and look at it, you can see the seam around the BB 9 times out of 10, and they're not very well polished, they're just cheap BBs. The more you pay, the less chance there is of you seeing a seam. The BBs are perfectly spherical, and they're polished to a nice high shine. So you know that they're, I don't know where Rebel, I'm sure they're not making their own BBs, I'm sure someone's making them for them, obviously. they seem pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been around for a while now, and no major issues, no particularly dirty barrels. There was one company that came out, I think it was Valkyrie BBs, and the first batches of their BBs were absolutely phenomenal. And then I don't know what happened, but they just went off a cliff. And I don't know if it's because the first few batches they brought out were really, really high quality, and it was a bit of a hook to get everybody in, and then they maybe selected a cheaper batch, or there was a manufacturing issue, or but it's really annoying because the first batches of BBs they brought out, I bought a few tubs of them, and they were honestly absolutely amazing. The next lot jammed up the barrel, just left residue everywhere. I believe Warhead, same issue with some of their BBs. I don't know what changed. Everyone was running Warhead BBs at one point, and then no one's running them anymore.
Yeah. So, as I see it, then there are two potential problems you can run into. You're talking about the problem of the sort of polish and the finish on the outside, the potential residue, and the quote unquote damage to the inner barrel.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to clean it a lot more.
Now, I suppose the other thing is as well, with a cheaper BB, you're going to have a lot more tolerance. As in, most BBs are 5.95 millimeters.
And how much seal they're going to
plus or minus 0.1 maybe, or 0.001 or whatever it is the manufacturer says. So they're all going to be pretty much perfectly exactly the same size. When you look at the likes of maybe, and I'm throwing it out there because they are awful BB, Spitfires.
Okay.
Which, fine in rental guns or anything with a nice wide barrel, not particularly well polished, do leave a lot of residue. I've had it before where you put 4 or 5 of those and you can physically see the size difference between them. Yeah. Like some are more swollen than others, and whereas let's go Longbow or Jeffs, because they're quite good for the heavyweight BBs. Quality of those BBs is amazing. BLS's heavyweight BBs, they're 4.3s, 4s, really, really good. Yeah. So yeah, that's your other thing. You've got your polish, your makeup, and also the variation in size.
I was going to go for this density problem that you were talking about, the pockets of air, and the potential that they'll actually crack upon shot.
Well, that's...
And then you leave a load of nonsense in your hop and all the rest of it. And
necessarily, you could possibly tear your hot rubber. I mean, that's kind of worst case scenario. Yeah.
I've seen that happen more with like aged BBs.
Oh yes.
And certainly don't pick up BBs off the floor.
Do not pick up pre-fired BBs.
Anything like that. But yeah, you see them. They don't even make it out of the barrel. They're already cracked, and it just governs everything up and that kind of thing. Where do we fall in on things like tracer rounds? Where do we fall in on the biodegradable BB and that kind of thing?
Okay, we'll address bios first. Avoid them if you can.
Well, that's easy.
Well, no, I mean, because to be fair, there's a lot of sites that are bio only. The problem with bio BBs is they are purported to be just the same as a non-bio in the way that they are and the way that they shoot. It isn't always the case. They're generally the polish on them because of the ingredients inside them. They don't polish up as well. And the big issue with bio BBs, I had somebody bring a gun into me, which it was a custom build gun I'd done for him. I put a 602 barrel in there, so a reasonably tight barrel, not uber tight, but reasonably tight barrel. And he'd bought a certain brand of BBs which were biodegradable. Played on a rainy day. I think a very small amount of moisture had got into the bag during that day, and I'm not saying he stood out in the rain like catching them, but obviously as he's filled up, the bag's been open, there's been some moisture get into the bag. He went to use them the following afternoon, and they were jamming the gun up.
Okay,
they'd
so
swollen that
they've
much.
swollen in the rain.
And half of them had changed colour. They'd gone from white to ivory.
Interesting.
Because I looked in the bag and I was like, well, this is 2 different types of BB. And he's like, no, I only opened the bag a couple of days ago, and yeah, that's how they are. And
Okay.
that's the problem
So
with bios, they are susceptible to moisture.
Moisture
a lot
and
more than-
everything else. So yeah, storing and lifespan of them
Yes.
would be a big problem there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter whether they're bios or non-bios. If you bought some BBs and you haven't used them for a month or so, probably best to sack them off if you've already opened that bag and let fresh air in there. And in the grand scheme of things, most guns, unless they're running a very tight barrel, on non-bio BBs will probably be fine for a good few months. But do you want to run the risk? Because if you're not particularly tech savvy yourself, you want to run the risk of possibly jamming your gun up and having to take it to someone and pay for new hot rubber and have the barrel cleaned and everything else.
Yeah. And like you say though, it's probably more susceptible to those running DMR platforms or snipers who have got a nice, like, ultra tight barrel on it. Where it's,
a lot of MTW users run 601s, PDI 601 barrels, and yeah, something like that. Even the slightest deviation away from factory standard size of the BB can cause major issues. So, just use fresh BBs. Tracers. Really, really good. They're actually the general consensus with tracers is, from what I've found, the quality of them is always pretty good. It doesn't seem to matter which brand you go for. You can go for G&Gs, you can go for Rebels, you can go for BLS. They're all much the same. However, tracers are much more fragile.
Okay.
They tend to, playing at tier 1, the old indoor, go up there. How many times have you seen people shooting tracer BBs that just shatter on impact? They are far more susceptible to shattering than normal BBs. Obviously, because the makeup of them, they've got different ingredients inside, and it makes them more brittle.
Do you think, obviously, the different ingredients and the general cost of them is why perhaps, as an overall BB, they're of a higher quality in terms of the polish and everything?
Possibly,
that you know, people accept that there's more going into them.
The
process of them, so
I mean,
you can't just get a cheap NAF version of it or anything.
No,
like that.
and someone once said to me, and I don't know how true it is because I've never actually checked it. Lighter weight tracer BBs, so like .2s, glow brighter than heavyweight tracer BBs.
Interesting.
Because there's less filler in them to make the weight up.
Yeah.
So they have more of the luminous capability when they're lit up, and they stay lit for longer. I've not tried it. I'd be interested to see if that's correct.
Yep. By all means, if a listener or a viewer is watching and you happen to have seen that firsthand, let us know. In theory, there's a lot of logic behind that.
I could see the logic of a 0.2 gram tracer staying lit for longer than a 3.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be more of that glowing UV filament in there to light up. And it's going to be less sort of shrouded by the heavier weight material that's in there to make it heavy. So in your opinion then, let's put it all out there, who's the BB to avoid then? Bear in mind you're sacking a company off here that you're going to plummet their stocks. Who's the BB to avoid? Bulldog.
Okay.
Bulldog BBs I generally don't use. If anyone ever, for anybody who's a new listener, if you go and buy a BB gun and you get that little tub of yellow see-through BBs and it says Bulldog across the front of it, they are fit for the bin, nothing else. Generally, all of the BBs I've seen from Bulldog, they're just rubbish, and then that kind of rolls into like the cheap Spitfire BBs, so nothing but problems with them. if I do a custom build for somebody, if I find out they've put Spitfires, Bulldogs, any of that for no warranty, and they're told that beforehand, use high quality BBs. You want to get the best out of your gun, just use a reputable brand. BLS, Rebel, Kinetic, which is what I stock alongside Rebels, any of those, really good BBs. But just anything that...
I suppose it comes back to the old adage: you get what you pay for.
You do get what you pay for, and everybody.
And if you pay $9.99 for 5,000 BBs,
everybody seems to overlook BBs, and the difference from a bad BB to a good BB can be a hell of a lot of accuracy and range increase from a decent quality BB and consistency.
Okay.
Just by spending an extra £2 or £3 on a bag of BBs, you could pick up what you would have to, maybe spend 50, 60 quid on upgrades to get, just by changing your BBs.
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's go full circle with this then.
Okay.
Gas.
Yes.
Do you see a lot of variance in gas?
Yeah, there's loads of variance in gas, actually.
And obviously some gas is better for the longevity of your seals and stuff like this.
Yes.
And that kind of thing. So from that perspective, in terms of longevity, when we're talking about high quality BBs and looking after your rifle,
yeah,
gas has got to be in there as well.
It
in
has,
terms of looking after seals and everything.
Each gun is different. I know from experience, like the E&C Glocks that I stock, cheap and cheerful, £100 Glock. They work really well, providing you're using a gas that has a reasonably high silicone oil content in there. If you run a dry gas in there, like Ultra Air, they don't tend to like it very much. They want that silicone in there for the nozzle seal and everything else, whereas MWSs tend to prefer a dry gas.
Okay.
I've always found that all of my MWS, or any of my gas blowbacks,
Would you
generally
say
prefer a dry gas.
is that across because obviously the MWS TM based, is that across all TMs? Would the MP7 prefer a dry gas than a
I don't know, because in all of my MP7s, I've always found that the nozzle seal tends to dry out quite quickly. A lot of people that run them on HPA will say the same thing. The nozzle seal dries out quite quickly, so you have to give it a bit of a squirt with some silicone oil. And I know there's going to be a load of people that say you shouldn't do that. It works, right? It's a quick way to get your gun back in the field. Down through the front of the nozzle, spray it on the actual nozzle seal, and it gets it working again. I think you need to kind of read the room, speak to other people that have got these specific guns and say, what gas are you using on yours? Has it had any issues? Did you have to change from one gas to another? The internet's a wonderful thing, but most guns are different. And, if you use a gas that's got a really high silicone content in there, silicone oil content, where's that going to go? Straight down your barrel, all over your hot rubber.
Yeah.
That's why maintenance gas, for me, I think maintenance gas is a bit of it's great for the magazines, but once you start trying to fire that up through the gun, because it's got quite a heavy oil content in there, yeah, it's great for the seals in your mags, but it's not good for the inside of your gun. I used to just use maintenance gas. If I was going to store a gas magazine for some length of time, I had some Oberlin maintenance gas, which was quite a high silicone content in there. A few bursts of that in the mag, put it away, because the oil in there kept the seals supple, should we say.
Yeah.
When I was taking it out to use it, I would purge the gas out, gently purge the gas out, fill it up with normal gas again, and away you go. So you're not just banging loads of silicone oil.
Silicone straight through everything, yeah.
But there's a lot of people that seem to think silicone oil is the wonder fix for everything on guns, and it's really not. Because there's so much that people use it for that it's not designed for that. There's far better products for it.
Do you think any of this is like brand specific? Because obviously you said like the MWS and everything, or those sort of platforms.
Yes and no. I think it's gun specific. I think it's the way the guns are designed and the way that they run. And let's be honest, we all know you can have two identical guns and they can run entirely differently.
Yeah.
Because, just because, really.
Yeah, one's a Friday gun.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. Again, if you're looking to buy something, you can get your kind of standard run-of-the-mill, like the Vorsk gas that I've got over there, the Vorsk V6. It has silicone oil in it, but it's not extremely heavy, so it's not going to mess your guns up. I know loads of people on MWSs that run that, no problem at all. V6, V8, no issue. I know plenty of people that use pure propane rather than a propane-butane mix. That's completely dry, there's no oil in it whatsoever. Their guns run fine. So, I think you get a bit of leeway with them, but I think it's also down to you to test to see what your gun prefers.
Talk to the community, like you say.
Talk to the community and try it. If someone's got different gas to use, do you mind if I just fill my mag up with, can I have a little burst of your gas to see if my gun runs any differently? Check it for a chrono, see if you're getting any more FPS out of it. If you've got a gun that's running at bang on 1 joule, and you can try somebody else's, like go from a V6 to a V8 or ultra air to V8, put it in there, and all of a sudden you're at 1.08 joules. Sweet, you've just gained 0.08 of a joule just by changing gas.
Yeah.
Just have a fiddle with it.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think we've probably hit the mark for today, won't we?
Yeah.
An hour and 8
just,
minutes.
That's the sweet spot according to the listeners.
I think it is, yeah. We're not chewing anyone's ear off.
Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed the show, everyone, today.
Yes.
As ever, thank you for listening, watching, subscribing to the YouTube channel. Following. As several other YouTubers popular, caressing our channel with your love. And we'll see you next
See you in
time.
the next one.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.